considering. Sort of take ages to get it, but it's.
Did you say we were live, Jace?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Movie Magic Show for Wednesday, the 14th of April, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Shane Bailey, joined by my wickedly talented cast. To my right, the film filleting, TV show hating, vinyl collating, Mr. Movies Ben Stapleton.
Hi, Shane.
How are you, Ben?
This way? No. This is
Other way. Other way.
Right. Oh.
There you go. To his right, the dulcet tones in your headphones, here to engineer a sincere atmosphere, Terry Fear.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you, Mr.
How
Fear?
are we? Oh, I'm very well.
How are you settling into the new place?
I'm really enjoying the new place. The gas instantaneous hot water is instantaneous and hot.
And water. That's the most important part.
It's very wet. For as far as I'd say 9.5 out of 10 wetness. For the it's nice. I did, however, I don't mean to co-opt, but I forgot to connect the electricity, and so there's like a grace period for me to do that. So we were without power overnight last night. I was very embarrassed.
Wow.
But it's all, as you can see, sorted now. But apart from that little hiccup, we're going smooth sailing.
Good to hear.
Yeah, nice.
And rounding out the cast, he loves his VR and shaking his hips like Shakira. Welcome to the era of Jason Mira.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey,
Terry, I
Jace,
was
you awake?
actually in your neighborhood just the other day, but you weren't there.
Do you mean Armadale?
Yeah,
What do you mean? What was
was
your
there
neck
a-
doing in my woods?
I was visiting a fellow friend just down the road. So yeah,
Oh, Solly.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was
Apparently you
out
on
of
some
town for
cigars?
a
Yeah.
40th birthday as he was coming to Armadale for his birthday.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. That's a shame, but that's all right. I'm great though. How's everyone else doing?
I'm
is,
well. Psyched to
And
be
it's
here for our next
T-Rex.
episode. For those tuning in, thank you for joining us. This is the Movie Magic Show every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time here on twitch.tv/magic_cast. We chuckleheads get together to like, love, bash, and trash the latest the entertainment world has to offer. Follow us on Twitter at Movie Magic Show. We'll notify you every time we're going live and tell you what topics we're going to be talking about. Speaking of the topics we're going to be talking about, tonight, as you'll see at the bottom of the screen, we'll be reviewing Venom, the 2018 Sony Pictures super villain hero movie.
Anti-hero.
Two of the
Super
guys here,
anti-hero.
anti-hero. There you go. Two of the guys here have watched The Courier, which is the Benedict Cumberbatch film of last year, I want to say. But, you know, COVID's fucked that up, so who knows when it was meant to release. We'll also touch upon Casino Royale, which you watched, Jace, and Kung Fu Panda, which Ben has revisited as well.
He's a panda. You're a panda.
Before we get to that, though, we're going to have some fun with some games that we like to play. First and foremost, guess the movie quote. We have 2 quotes you need to guess, and I'm going to throw it to the dulcet tones himself. Actually, no, you gave us the 6 degrees. Never mind. Ben Stapleton,
Indeed.
Mr. Movies. First quote, sir.
You keep trying to pick a fight, but I'm just happy you're alive.
How long did it take me, Ben, to get it once I read it?
You went, I know it. What? I know it. I know. Oh, I got it.
Very proud of this one.
Yeah.
And Mr. Miro, the second quote.
All right. A bit of language warning here. All right. I am the Messiah. Now fuck off.
Okay.
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Those quotes are going to scroll by the bottom of the screen. If you can guess them, let us know in chat. And the other game we like to play is called
That's a
6
classic
Degrees.
quote.
This is the mind-bending match game in which you need to try and connect 2 actors alongside common actors they've starred in other movies in. As an example, if I was trying to connect Samuel L. Jackson and Nicole Kidman, one solution would be SLJ starred in The Phantom Menace with Ewan McGregor, and Ewan McGregor starred in Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman. That would be 2 degrees. This week, the 2 actors you need to connect are...
Keira Knightley to Michelle's Rodriguez.
Thank you, Terry. If you make that connection, let us know in the chat. It's going to scroll by bottom of the screen as well. Let's get into our first topic, gentlemen. Let's start with.
It's a good one.
Let's start with Venom because it's fresh for me.
Fresh in your mind.
Just came off watching it. I'm going to quickly go to IMDb. Just before, I mean, maybe this is a stupid question, but has everyone else seen it?
No, I'm not.
You have not.
I have.
Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The exact comedy yeah that I expected, Ben. Anyway, this is a 2018 anti-hero
Wow.
sci-fi action movie from Sony Pictures. And the IMDb synopsis goes, a failed reporter is bonded to an alien entity, one of many symbiotes who have invaded Earth. But the being takes a liking to Earth and decides to protect it. It's directed by Ruben Fleischer, written by Jeff Pinker, Scott Rosenberg, and Kelly Marcel. It stars Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Riz Ahmed, and I think that is everyone of note.
Who plays the voice of the Venom?
Everyone,
I had
because they are Venom.
We are Venom.
I had assumed that it would be also Tom Hardy, just being.
Well,
awesome.
according to IMDb, the credit for Venom is Tom Hardy, but I'm not sure if that's actually takes into account the voice. Chat, if you find out, let us know.
If it was someone else, like if
Because it says he's credited Eddie Brock here, and then
he'd be in the top billing. It's like the main character, pretty much.
I'm trying to find the character of Venom. Where did you see it? Oh, yeah, it says Eddie Brock / Venom. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
he's-
Okay,
he's
yeah, there you
doing
go.
both. He's doing both.
Yeah, he must have done them both.
Anyway, the ratings. Let's see. We have a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, a Metascore of 35, and let me find the Rotten Tomatoes for you. Take a guess, gentlemen. What do we think? Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm guessing like high 50s, low 60s.
It's going to be in the 70s, I reckon.
Yeah, Chase.
I kind of peeked at it just before.
29%.
Oh,
Rotten.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
people must have really had high expectations from this film.
Yeah.
You're
And
gonna
people
remember it
love
was a
Venom.
Sony film. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. But it's a Sony film.
Oh, but
It's
still,
like
it's just like...
I either boycott it or I have like basement floor expectations.
I must say, I had pretty low expectations of this one myself. I remember hearing like, things about it, when it first came out. And I have no affiliation with the character. I think Venom was in Spider-Man 3, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him being that. I couldn't even tell you what happened with that character.
Bad things
if
happen.
they were interesting. But not memorable at all to me. So
Yeah.
I went into this one.
Tobey Maguire dance. He's smug Toby Maguire.
I went into this one thinking, surely Tom Hardy's gonna make this somewhat enjoyable, and he did make it somewhat enjoyable. I think he does a pretty good job. But outside of that, oh my goodness, this felt like a film from 2 decades ago. It legitimately felt like one of those Raimi Spider-Man movies. And just the whole setup at the start with like the alien entity landing from space, and you quickly cut to San Francisco where everything's happy, and surely the symbiote's going to make its way there and fuck things up. And the trope of Brock being down on his life, and you see the sequence of events. Tell me if you'd recognize this trope, guys. The sequence of events that are going to reoccur later in the film differently because he will have changed by then. Here's an example. He goes into the convenience store and obviously has a very good relationship with the shopkeeper there, little old Asian lady, and he goes about his business, goes to the fridge to pick up some things, and she gets held up at gunpoint. He does nothing, and then the silence leaves, and that's it. And immediately then and there, I know that the next time that's going to happen in the film, it's going to go very differently because he's going to be Venom and save the day. And the same thing happens where he goes back to his apartment, and the neighbor with the guitar is just wailing on it, and he's fed up with it. And I was like, okay, so later on when that exact same thing happens, surely he's going to threaten him with his venomness. Or every single time that sort of trope was laid up, I predicted it, and there was no it's not
and it
a
happens
unique.
in the same order too. It's like the same montage, beat by beat.
It's not a unique sort of flaw to this film. Like, it happens in so many movies, but I'm just sick of it. And when this movie is just jam packed of everything we've seen before, like there's nothing new in this movie. It really was painful for me to watch. I think Venom brings a cool quirk and sense of humor to the movie, where he's like learning about humanity and for whatever reason just oddly falling in love with them, saying things about Michelle Williams' character like, I like that one, and like, let's not eat her, and things like that. That was kind of unique and cool. But outside of that, man, the action was boring. I think Riz Ahmed was horrendously cast in this. He does not play a sinister, vile, scientist trying to push the boundaries of science in this. He's meant to be, very villainously instructing around his goons, and it just does not come off well at all. I really, really disliked his performance. And I love him in everything else. So, yeah, honestly, like, there's not much else for me to say on this one. So I want to throw it to you guys. Like, do you vibe with what my position is right now? Is it sort of coming back to you, or is there anything jumping out that you think to yourself, oh wow, no, I really disagree?
No. I agree with most of your points. Maybe not as strongly. Like, it might be how little I expected from it, and the fact that I ended up being like, oh, cool. Like, the character of Eddie Brock in this is 1,000 times more interesting than the Eddie Brock from the Spider-Man 3 movies. So it might be that combined with my really low expectations that I was like, this is a story that I don't actually mind listening to. 100% predictable. As you said, all of those tropes, 100% present, like completely like, what's it called when someone's like, bringing a punch and you can see it coming from a mile away? What's that called? Telegraphing. Yeah, those instances like completely telegraphed. But it was still kind of cool. I do think that the villain symbiote in the film was reminiscent for me of. Did you guys ever play Prototype?
Yeah.
I never played it, but I know the game you're talking about.
So very much like that. You end up with like these icky black powers that can turn into blades and different types of things. And so that kind of also might have tickled, because I was like, oh, this reminds me of that thing. And so maybe there was like a little pop of nostalgia for the game that was interfering a little bit with what I was enjoying in the movie. The movie's incredibly flawed. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense that the Venom character flip-flops from like, I'm gonna eat everything, we're gonna, like, I'm commandeering you. It's like this really weird dichotomy where the alpha one, as soon as it takes over, the human is gone. There's like it's assuming direct control, where Venom is kind of like, I'm a bit more like a parasite because I don't really control the body, but I can kind of do certain bits and pieces. So I found that kind of odd, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like to think of this movie as the actual Venom though, because for me, the character Venom in the Marvel universe has its roots in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Eddie Brock. And that's...
And if it wasn't for Peter Parker, then Venom wouldn't be what he is.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. Like I think they tried to, especially with the whole science thing, trying to say like, oh, they need to find a solid match, otherwise they, consume the host and stuff like that. It's just kind of, it's like trying to make this utter science fiction into something that's plausible, and it undermines the whole thing, because like, I don't know, I feel bad because I recommended you to watch this film and you didn't like it.
No, that's all right.
I just want to address that. Yeah, whatever. I do want to address that.
So I sent a message to our group chat that maybe I think just Jason has seen. It was right when Terry recommended to Shane, yeah, you should watch it. And then Shane's like, all right, I will. And then I was like, I wrote this message that was like, ooh, I think I should warn Shane, but I'm just going to see how this plays out. Then I screenshot it. I don't actually send it, just to prove that that's what I was thinking at the time. Kind of a thing. So I just posted that screenshot to our chat as we were talking about this.
Yeah. are interested in the Venom character in the Marvel universe, not necessarily the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's a really good animated film that is the origin story of Venom. It's really good. It's a little bit dated because it's older. I think it's like mid 90s maybe, Marvel animation, but it's good, and it does a better job of kind of introducing the symbiotes and things like that. And you get to meet Carnage, who is a different symbiote born out of Venom. And yeah, I don't know. The movie to me was enjoyable. The comedy notes in it kind of struck the right kind of chords. I was watching it with Jen, and we kind of picked it because I was like, I've heard garbage things about this film. I don't want to be particularly interested because it's date night, and if the movie's no good, it's fine. We'll just go like eat dinner or something like that. It didn't need to be a great film that we're invested in, and we ended up watching it all the way to the end. So that's kind of why I was like, I think that exceeded my expectations, because I was halfway expecting that 2/3 of the way through the movie, halfway through the movie, I'd just be like, this is crap. But it didn't do that. So yeah, but I agree. It's not a good movie.
What about you, Ben? Well, your memory's coming back, having just seen the trailer we played.
Well, to aid the memory coming back, I went into Letterboxd and I thought I might have written a review on it, and I did. I saw it in October of 2018, matter of fact, and I wrote purposefully vague, completely unspoilery reviews. So I'll read this little piece to you, Shane, and you can tell me if you can graft it onto a host. I said that it opened up a story arc without closing it at all, and it closed a story arc it never opened. It's like someone made 2 movies and then cut them both in half and threw away the good parts. It's Danny DeVito from Twins.
Wow.
And I gave it 1 star.
I'm trying to think of what you would mean by that. Maybe there was something around Michelle Williams' character she's originally dating Eddie Brock, and then they break up, and she gets a new boyfriend, and the boyfriend helps him because he's a doctor, and they conduct an MRI when he's first bonded with Venom. Maybe something there where it kind of comes out of nowhere, but no, that's opened quite clearly that she's obviously it's 6 months later she's dating this new guy.
Tell me how to watch it again so I can understand what I was seeing.
Well,
I'm not sure it'd be worth it. Yeah.
The closing an arc that it didn't open, I'm thinking the sending a mission to space to bring more symbiotes. It's like it didn't really establish that very strongly through the film. It was just kind of like, there's more of us in space.
Yeah, there was one character, the scientist lady that is assisting Riz Ahmed's
John Ralphio's sister from Parks and Recreation. I can't remember what her actual name is, but she's a funny comedian actor.
Yeah, she plays Dr. Dora Skirth is the character's name, and she's assisting Carlton Drake in his pursuit for science, and then she realizes the error of her ways in going along with this, because he's obviously doing things like really unethically, and so she seeks out Eddie Brock to try and correct things, and they kind of build up her character, and then she doesn't have much of a part to play soon after. Let's say that much.
Thinking like Venom's like, I feel insulted that this would be sold, as a movie I'd like, with the poster, and it's like, oh, it's tantalizingly fun, quote from the Morning Star or whatever, with 5 stars. I'm like, it isn't. It really isn't. What are you doing? Why would you sell this? What is wrong with you people? Like, obviously the answer is they have to sell it because they've invested so much money into it. They can't just like go bankrupt because they made a mistake and made a shitty movie. They have to try and sell it. But it's like trying to sell a pizza that you have taken a bite out of already. Like, almost no one wants, It's like kids and kids that would like maybe not care so much that there's a bite taken out of it. Oh, it's still delicious. At least it was hot. That kind of, but there was a bite taken out of it. It's like gross. I don't want it, and you made me pay for it. and you sold it to me like it was a delicious pizza, but there was a huge bite taken out of it. Gross. And yeah, so I get that feeling a lot when I come out of like objectively bad. Is one thing. Like someone might get some artistic appeal out of this, or someone might find something to graft onto their story. But then there's like subjectively bad. And if I paint a really bad movie like Venom as subjectively bad, like I'm like, no one in their right minds who knows what a good movie it's like can say that this is amongst a good movie. It's just not. When it's a movie like that, I get really mad at it, which is why I think I called it Danny DeVito from Twins.
One thing I will say is that the first time, well, not the first time, but towards the end of the first act, you see they're conducting human trials with the symbiotes for the first time, and they bring in a volunteer, and it's all going well, and they bond together, and then the symbiote rejects the human, the body, and he's twisting and turning, and the symbiote's trying to get out, and the human's dying in the process. And if I saw that as a kid, I would have been horrified. It was like the body's contorting and the bones are breaking, and it just collapses to the ground. The symbiote just like pours out of its paws, this human's paws. And like I was sitting right there on the lounge, and I was just like, "Ooh, yeah, that would have scared me as a kid. That definitely would have scared me."
It's what we call chewy. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tail in with Ben's thoughts. I think that you can say that the movie is pretty close to objectively bad. Like which is, I don't know. I feel like having these conversations with you after watching a film, I sharpen my own thoughts and refine my thoughts a bit about it. I remember thinking while I was on the couch, why is he making that decision? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
that's my first paragraph, Terry. Yay!
Yeah. So Eddie Brock's character is a journalist who's like, I get to the truth and I expose the truth, but he has this close personal relationship, and then he leverages it in a really negative way, and I'm like, when you make a decision to do something that's bad, I like to imagine that people have this cost-benefit analysis process that they go through. How likely is it that I'm going to be caught? How likely is it that the person who I'm getting this information from is going to rat me out or be incriminated by the action? Like, what level of plausible deniability do I have, if any? And it's like, none of those questions bear any level of scrutiny. As soon as he's like, I could break into my lawyer girlfriend's laptop and get, information because she represents the company that I'm about to have this interview with. I've been straight told by my boss to have a normal interview and not go hardball. It's meant to be a fluff piece, even though he's like, who asks a hardball, like bulletproof vest wearing journalist? Like you don't
the
ask
strongest moral compass.
Yeah, and the guy who would be like a frontline journalist on a war front, you don't ask that guy to do a fluff piece. It's like, it's ridiculous. So it's contrived from that point. And then he's like, okay, I say yes. But then he's like, I'm not going to do the fluff piece because I've got my standards. But you completely, I'm going to
set my life on fire.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do this thing that as soon as someone asks, wait, how could he possibly know that? And then they're like, his girlfriend is a high profile lawyer for the company he just went and did the interview for. I wonder where he got the information.
It might be a conflict of interest anyway.
Sorry?
He shouldn't have been they shouldn't have been writing that article in the first place.
No, he shouldn't have been asked to do it. He's like, I can't do that because my wife represents them. It would be a conflict of interest. So his journalistic integrity that he says that he has doesn't make any sense. The movie bears zero scrutiny and can stack up as a sensical thing. It doesn't make sense. But even though that is the case, I still found things in it that I ended up enjoying, which I think is maybe a window into, and I say this with no intended disrespect to Mr. Hendricks, when he can watch what I think is an objectively bad movie, and he's like, well, I liked it. Like, I think I understand that, because I still enjoyed this movie, even though I know these things that are bad, and I was
The guy down there
cognizant of them.
God forgives Terry. Down
So
the end.
that's true. That's true. But that's different, because objectively, the sum of the parts is for us not good, but we all said the lighting palette was great, the filming was great, the film techniques, all of those things, the imagery was phenomenal. I don't think we liked the pacing, but the three of us were like, it's a garbage movie that we'll never ever watch again. And the Jasons are both like, I loved it. I didn't just I liked it. It's like they love that film.
I really like that.
That to me is a subjective difference. Whatever it was that was different. This one I think is objectively bad. The none of the techniques, some of the visuals are really janky, but I still, despite all of those flaws, ended up enjoying the experience. Like, does that make it a guilty pleasure? I don't know. Like, maybe that's what
I'd love to have like a long conversation about that. Like, if you can say this was a bad movie, how can you then say that I liked it? Like,
I don't know. Well, I think in the same way. So in the same way that people say that I'm a pretty good person, but we do horrible things, and you could say the vice versa. I'm a horrible person, but like you can be a really generous and caring and loving friend. Like, I think that there's this really broad spectrum of not hypocriticality, if that's a word. Like, we're not just hypocritical. It's like we have opposing behaviors and viewpoints about things. Like, we're contrary beings.
I think a lot of it comes down to mood as well, right? Like, there's just like
Sure.
there's a variety of factors that go into what made this experience enjoyable. It wasn't just what was happening on the screen. Because there are days where I like a lazy Sunday where I don't want to do anything, and if someone threw on the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I might not say no to it. You know, like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is one of those days.
Same as Transformers. Like, I was struck by the mood to watch the second one not that long ago, so I did it. I know. I think actually we had a conversation about the Transformers movies when they came out on the original show, and I said no one goes to those films to see like Oscar-winning performances, screenplays. You might be for like maybe visual effects, but that's not why people go. Like,
no one's gonna go watch Mortal Kombat when it comes out for like the script and the cinematography and stuff.
I'm hoping that it's incredibly cheesy dialogue with one-liners and puns
and gore and cool like fatalities,
face-ripping, spine-crunching goodness.
But that's all those things that you just described can be good, right? Whereas I think a film like Venom could have had those things. It could have had really smart action that leverages the creativity of the symbiotes. Unfortunately, it really doesn't. You know, it just devolves into just like the least imaginative things ever. It's just like, oh well, his arm's an axe now. It was a giant spike earlier. Whoa.
Venom,
just like Prototype.
Venom saying, "Oh, he's got stuff you've never seen," and I'm like, "It's a axe blade made out of symbiote goo." Like, maybe I haven't seen that specific type of axe, but it's really just a giant axe. Like,
and these movies, I wish they would do better, in the sense that this film, one of the very first action pieces you see that involves a human having been taken over by a symbiote is the fact that they have half a dozen assailants coming at them, and they immediately just shoot these giant symbiote daggers out of like their chest instantly. It's like when Iron Man in Avengers Age of Ultron lands in that compound, and I think it's Iron Man 1 as well, where he just he lines them up, he scans them using his helmet, he's just standing completely still, and all of a sudden a little thing on his shoulder pops up and eliminates them all. This symbiote does the exact same thing, and it's like, okay, you've just set that standard. Now every other action moment that happens throughout the film that involves multiple assailants and being overwhelmed, I'm like, that would have been the quickest way to eliminate all these enemies. Why haven't you done it again? And instead, no, you're jumping around and throwing them backwards and forwards and copping bullets to the face at the same time. It's like, anyway. It's just I really just like that.
At least in the Mandalorian, like they said like those little whispering rockets are
you've used
very rare.
you've used used that weapon, right? And then the other thing that I really dislike is just it's just CGI monster on CGI monster by the very end of it, and it reminded me of the very first Transformers movies where symbiotes are interacting with the other symbiote, and you don't know who's winning, and all sense of threat is thrown out the window because I'm just like I can't tell what's going on screen right now.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so that part was painful. Oh, one more thing that I really disliked. And that was the first time that Michelle Williams' character rounds a corner to see Venom holding another human in the air about to devour them, like 12 feet tall. She freaks out. Venom looks, transforms back into Eddie Brock, and she's like, no, wait, come back. And then she's just like, what the hell was that? She's like, well, I'm infected, I'm sick. She's like, yeah, you're damn right you're sick. We need to get you to a hospital. I'm like, what? No! You just saw your ex-boyfriend transform back from a 12-foot monster about to devour another human. You don't say, let's get you to the hospital. You fucking get out of there and try and never see him again.
That or your entire mind breaks because, like, five seconds before you rounded that corner, you didn't think aliens existed, monsters existed.
Exactly.
You walk around the corner and there's literally, like you've just said, a 12-foot monster with like 4-inch teeth about to devour someone's face. If your mind doesn't break at that point, something's a little wrong with you. Or maybe we can see enough TV that it wouldn't break us now, but
we would do it. You're like, you're like a Venom type thing, aren't you?
yeah.
I hate that trope in movies where someone is sick but just refuses to admit it, like that they need help or whatever.
Yeah,
this movie doesn't do it too badly in the sense that there is one moment where I think Eddie Brock's on the phone to Michelle Williams, his ex, and says something to the effect of like, she's like, what's going on? She's like, and he goes to say, I'm hearing a voice in my head. And then he's immediately cut off by the realization that she's got a new boyfriend, and so that it sort of derails that. But in that moment, I thought to myself, that's exactly the trope that Ben hates, in the sense that something is terribly wrong with you and you don't understand what's going on. There is no harm in sharing that with someone else and saying, hey, something's not right now. Like, I'm hearing a fucking voice in my head, and I was in this science facility earlier and something weird happened, so maybe it's got something to do with that. He actually does a good, freely admits, like, hang on, I've got a voice in my head, something's wrong here. I think the movie is redeemed slightly just for that.
Do you guys remember Prometheus?
Yeah.
Dude that looks just like Tom Hardy, isn't it? And he like gets up and he's like, he like looks real close, and then this thing like sticks out of his eyeball. It's like, ugh, and he's like, whoa. Better go on with my day. Doesn't say anything to anybody, and then like someone like in his face, he's getting worse, and they're like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine." I'm fine. Dude.
I recently replayed Gears 5, and Kate, the main character in that, is having visions of her mum, who's like the Locust Queen, and she's all these hallucinations. And she'll come to, and Dell will be like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm like, "No, you're not. You just had a fucking hallucination of your dead mother, who happens to be the Locust Queen, and you saw this vision. Why don't you tell your best friend?" Anyway.
Just on the off chance that it wasn't some fanciful hallucination, and it was actually something that's kind of important.
What's that? I was like, "Oh, dude, no, not really. Like, I literally just had this vision of my dead mum, this, that, and the other, and maybe it's got something to do with the fact that we're trying to figure out what the locusts are doing. I don't know."
That was so good. I would even love it if they just broke the fourth wall and like they was like, "Are you okay?" And they just kind of like look straight at the camera for a second and go, "No, actually, I'm in trouble."
Anyway, that's Venom. It's on Netflix. Avoid at all costs.
I don't think I'm going to be watching this one.
No, there's way better Venom stories. Just watch any of the older Marvel animated films.
Yeah, I just watched the Spider-Man animated show.
Yeah. Or, watch a fantastic movie like Casino Royale, Mr. Miller.
Oh, what a movie.
You recently rewatched this. Any particular reason why you revisited the
I have a friend
movies of all time?
I have a friend who had never watched a James Bond film.
You had a friend. Yes, that is the correct.
Yeah. I had a friend.
Exactly.
And so we decided to watch it. and yeah, they liked it. I think I'm pretty sure they did. But like watching it again because it's been so long since I've seen it, and some of the action scenes in it, I'm just like, oh!
Like acts in the stairwell, Jace.
The fight in the stairwell, yeah, and
Acts
just
is
watching,
like nuts. He's just like,
yeah, and just watching the, because I don't know now, I've been
You're
watching a
all
lot of
about
those stuntmen react, videos.
Mm.
And now I'm like analyzing how the stuntmen and how the filming, like how they would have filmed those action sequences.
remember this, Shane? Do you remember I told you about this?
Just last week.
yeah,
But
just
I
last
think
week.
this is okay, right? Like this is a movie that Jason's seen many times before. You can go back on a revisit and like take a look at how it was all put together.
Yeah, well that's right. And you know when they flipped the Aston Martin, they set a world record for that. The amount of times you can flip a car
Yeah,
on film.
the number of times a car flips.
You mean like they flipped it and they're like back to one, everyone, and they like roll it up the hill again?
Shit, we missed that.
No, as in
Also,
the number of barrel rolls that a car did in a flip.
Yeah.
Joke. Well done.
Yeah. So, such a good movie, and just and she didn't really know like poker much as all like the rules of poker, but like watching it.
Supposed to take this out of the deck.
Rules of playing poker. So she, by the end of it, I was like, "Do you like understand what was going on there?" She's like, "No," but like the winning hand that Bond had, spoilers, didn't really look that great. Like it's just like a 7 and an 8. But to people who know poker, it's like, oh my god, it's a straight flush. And so she was like, oh no, and then put it out on the I don't know what the terms are. I put it out on the table, and she's like,
River?
whoa! So that was exciting. But the action scenes are still fresh, and frenetic. Especially the parkour chase at the front.
That opening scene is incredible.
Still,
even the one we just saw at the airport, or I love just the way that he is able to, I suppose, just put things together, particularly when he arrives at the resort, right? And he triggers the car alarms and is able to make his way into the CCTV room. And what he's doing there is using like when the text message was sent to flick through
and find
the recording on the day and find out and so he identifies the person that way. Just so intelligent. Yeah, Casino Royale. I always have a hard time picking between it and Skyfall as my favorite Bond movie.
And so we figured we'd start with Casino Royale to start them off on James Bond films, just because it's
interesting.
I watched the video as like if James Bond has been the same person throughout all of the films, like this would be the chronological order, and Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace are the first two. Then it goes back to like Dr. No and etc. and then ends
he
with
just gets his 00 status right at the start of Casino.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so
hey Ellen.
Hey Ellen.
Hey Mum.
And so it was a really cool ride. It's such a good movie. It's such I highly recommend a rewatch. It's available on Stan at the moment if you're in Australia. It's really good. It's a really good film.
Do in movies where it's like someone's coming, quick, let's kiss or whatever. Like let's pash and pretend that we're not paying attention. I love that scene just before the act stuff.
Oh yeah.
How there's like interrogation going on inside this hotel room, and he's kind of like listening in, and then he hears them coming out, and then him and Eva Green are just like making out in the hallway as they're walking by. I'm like, absolutely ridiculous. So, it's like we're within earshot of when you were just like beating up on this guy, and that's fine. This is just a great place.
We'll highlight
love.
the end scene where the scene that you can't watch, Ben.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, that was just watching that, just thinking, how would they have shot that whole thing? Like shooting, it was all a set, obviously, but like that would have been a nightmare trying to film around water and having all of these things just falling down on you and like trying to run up against like a feeling like a man. It's insane. So
what I hate just about watching that trailer that we played while you were talking, Jace, was the fact that we see the Venetian buildings collapsing. We see that iconic shot of Eva Green underwater, just like stoically, looking away. at least for me, those are images that will stay in my memory. And so, were I to watch that trailer before having seen the film for the first time, I would go into that scene. I would go into that film thinking, we haven't seen the Venetian building collapsing or Eva Green underwater yet. That's what I'm thinking, you know. And because I hadn't seen the trailer for Casino Royale going into it. And I remember, you know, getting towards the end of that movie before that twist happens, and having that feeling myself, like, why is this film still going? Like, it's
like I feel like I'm watching the Return of the King ending.
Yeah, they've got the bad guy, everything's good, the money's secure,
Like,
this, that, and the other.
And he's like, you can't move. Why is there still a movie?
The same
happening?
thing.
Why is there still a movie?
The same thing happened in Promising Young Woman, where obviously she hooks up with, I think, with Ryan's was the character's name, and the happy music is not the happy music plays, the
Paris Hilton song.
The Paris Hilton song plays in the convenience store. I know I'm thinking to myself, the credits are about to roll. This is a fantastic ending. And then they go and have dinner with her parents. I'm like, why is this movie still going? Little do I know, there's 45 minutes of runtime left. And so I hate the fact that trailers like that exist, and I mean, maybe it's just that's more on me in the sense that I will retain that information, and it's the undoing of my enjoyment. So anyway,
I don't remember it while I'm watching the film, but for instance, I remember seeing the Dark Knight Rises trailer before the movie, and the second that you see wide establishing shot of stadium with crowd in like making noise, I'm like, oh, this is the one where the ground gives way, like I've already seen in the trailer, and that guy's running and then all the other players fall and there's bombs going off and all that kind of stuff. And then that doesn't happen for like another 3-4 minutes of runtime, because you've got like someone singing the anthem and police running into the tunnels and Bane preparing his troops and everything like building to the thing I already know is going to fucking happen. It's horrible when when you're just like, oh, come on, like, I know that the magician is going to vanish the assistant. We don't need to see her dance around the magic box for 3 minutes. Just get in the box.
I have a similar feeling with how do you guys feel about the James Bond opening song and credits?
Love it.
Love it?
Yeah,
It's
I
one
love them.
of my favorite things.
Usually, I have mixed feelings about it.
The one for Spectre that what's his face did?
Oh yes.
What's his name?
Jack White.
Sam something, is it?
Oh, Sam Mendes.
No.
That's the director.
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's still my beating heart.
Skyfall's a song I can just listen to on its own as well. I love that.
I was sitting there watching it and going, this needs to go. Like, I know it's iconic to James Bond, but I'm over it. I just show me the fucking movie. It's like that scene in The Simpsons where Homer's like getting angry that the movie hasn't started yet, and Bart's egging him on. It's like, hey Homer, has the movie started? And it's like, that's me. I'm like, let's watch the fucking movie.
The intro that needs to go for real is the Mission Impossible intros that show you the movie.
Agreed.
Yeah.
100%.
They literally show you what's to come.
Yep.
I still watch like some old movies and like really old, like 50s kind of westerns and stuff like that. They open with the full cast and credits.
Yeah.
Like you have like an overture sort of music kind of going, and you've got the full cast and credits.
Woody Allen does a similar thing with the title cards, and they're flash cards. They're not scrolling, or they're not fading and appearing throughout like establishing shots. It's literally white text on black screen with score over the top, and it's just like Midnight in Paris. You got Owen Wilson, Rachel McAdams, and all these other actors.
I think it was Star Wars that stopped that trend, like that bucked that trend.
I don't know. It's certainly something that changed. I like that Tarantino
credits twice. I know that that's like a rule for films. It's like you have to show you have to run 2 types of credits. There's all kinds of like stipulations about it. So that's why you get like the direction and the casting supervisor and the production, and sometimes you get the main cast at the start, and then you get the whole lot again at the end.
Like a production of brought to you by, directed by, in
association with.
Yeah, that's it. I like that Tarantino included that in The Hateful Eight. It was really authentic, and even having, I think he call it an overture.
He did, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been ages
Yeah.
since I've seen that film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice piece of authenticity to the genre that he was trying to recreate with that cinematic experience, with the big 70mm or lens or whatever it was that he did.
Yeah, the version you watch if you like stream it on Netflix, I don't think it has it, but special Roadhouse version we watched. Yeah, it was like a special cut of the movie.
Very happy
Yeah.
we watched that.
Yeah,
very
me
happy
too.
we made the trip to the city to watch that.
I distinctly remember the noodles that we had for lunch beforehand upstairs. It was spicy ramen noodle things. It was amazing.
Whereabouts was this?
At the cinemas that we watched it.
Oh, did we go to Ichiban Boshi in front of Kinokuniya?
Gesundheit. I think actually, I think it was that. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best noodles in Sydney.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to
really
Sydney,
good.
check out Ichiban Boshi. Oh,
Ichiban Boshi, which is number one something, but I
Best.
can't remember what Boshi is.
Ichiban best.
Ichiban's like number one best favorite, like but it literally translated it's number one.
Nice. So, Jace, you and your friend going to continue watching the Daniel Craig Bonds?
I hope so. Yeah. Quantum of Solace is next, but usually we do like my choice and then their choice. So I don't know what their choice is.
Nice.
What was the opening sequence for Quantum of Solace?
The chase.
Parkour.
Yeah, the guy that was like he's like touching his ear, and he's like, "Stop
Wait,
touching
Quantum
your
of
face."
Solace
No,
or
that's
Casino Royale?
Quantum of Solace. I'm
You
asking
said-
Quantum of Solace. What is the opening sequence of Quantum?
It's the chase.
the Day of the Dead?
No, that's Spectre.
It's the chase, the car chase.
Yeah, you're not helping me here.
He's got Mr. White in the car. He's in the Aston
Oh
Martin.
yes, that's
They're
right.
driving down a tunnel, and they're chasing him.
I don't remember.
And by the end of it, the car is just destroyed.
Yeah, it's wrecked.
Does it end in
Yeah,
water?
absolutely right.
It ends like in a tunnel, doesn't it, with police?
I
Can't
don't
remember.
Yeah. Quantum of Solace is so forgettable to me. I can't tell you what happens in that movie.
Wakarimasen. Yeah, same. I forgot that was a movie.
Anyway, one movie I do
I forgot that
remember
was a
fondly,
movie.
Kung Fu Panda Ben, which you've been watching.
Yeah.
Tell us, why did you revisit this? Is it because we mentioned it not
Yes.
long ago? Yes.
It is 100%. Last week, I think you guys mentioned it. So, I can't remember what the context was, but I was like,
It
We
was
talked
one of
about
the
Tai
6
Lung
degrees.
and the fight on the rope bridge.
Yeah.
One of the
The-
greatest action cinematic scenes of all time.
and I agree. It was amazing. Totally awesome.
Was it not also part of the 6 degrees? Did we use Tai Lung's actor as
I think I
one
mentioned
of the...
Ian McShane.
You
Yeah.
did mention Ian
Oh.
McShane.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I it's been a while, and I remember loving it. So I was like, yeah, definitely, I want those vibes. And I picked up on like just a couple of things that I didn't even notice the first time that I love, like Master Oogway just outright says like, isn't it funny how sometimes the things that we set in motion to stop fate cause its action? And that's when he sends the messenger bird off to double the guard, and then the fact that the bird is there and loses a feather causes Tai Lung to get what he needs to escape. But like it just happens, but nobody reacts when Oogway says that. He only says it to Shifu, but he just goes anyway. Yeah, moving on. And so I really liked that because I'm like, oh, that's what's gonna happen. And then towards the end, like you learn that Tai Lung's got that nerve punch technique where he can just like, disable you, and he used it on the Fantastic Five, which I was like, is that a Fast and the Furious movie as well? Was it called? It was just
Fast
It's
Five.
just called Fast 5. Yeah.
whenever they called them the Five or whatever, I was just like, I'm just getting like Fast and the Furious every time they say that. I don't want to be thinking about that. I want to be thinking about Kung Fu. So he does that on Poe, and like Poe is the Dragon Warrior, I suppose, because he can defeat Tai Lung because he's just tubby and his attacks don't work on him. And I love it because it's like he's getting tickled, and
Yeah.
his performance just in that piece is like a girlfriend being tickled, and he's like going like, stop, I'm gonna pee. And he's like kicking in the air and stuff. He says you'll make me pee or something. It's so I loved it. I just had to pause it because I was laughing.
Just watch this guy. I love how Mantis is the last one to be holding the rope bridge.
It was actually the up until the tickle thing with the nerve attack, that was the funniest thing in the movie, where it's just like, I'll go and help. You hold on. And it's literally, Mantis is the last one. Actually, he says, you go.
Yeah.
And he grabs the rope.
And that's Seth Rogen, I'm pretty sure, right? Plays
It
Mantis.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, you go, and he's just like, "Arr!" And Monkey like runs down the rope, and he's holding the weight of everybody. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it.
Brilliant.
It's a great.
Brilliant.
It is good.
I need
It's
to, having watched that scene
yeah.
now, I need to.
The sequel's also
Properly.
pretty good too.
Sequels are great. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda 3 being so great. Was that Idris Elba as well
Was it?
as the villain?
I
Maybe. No, it was
think you might be
JK.
right.
JK.
Wasn't?
I'm on it. Give me a
Am I
second.
thinking
An
Gary
ox?
Oldman?
Gary Oldman was the peacock in 2.
The crane
Oh, Crane. I
or
thought it was
peacock. Was it? Yeah, you might be right.
Crane.
He might have been a
Crane
white.
is one of the Fantastic Five.
A white.
Gary Oldman
Yeah,
is
he was a white
Shen.
peacock.
Seth Rogen as Mantis. James.
Yeah,
Michelle
Kung Fu Panda 3,
Yeoh?
Jace.
Frey.
Kung Fu Panda 3. You want to know the
Numero-
villain in 3? I think it was Idris Elba or J.K. Simmons. And the reason I get those confused is because it came out in a similar time to Zootopia from memory.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, and he is
And both those actors
the
were
water buffalo.
Yeah.
J.K.
in-
Simmons
in
is
Zootopia.
Kai.
There you go, J.K.
J.K. Simmons.
Oh, the other thing was I had to stop and Google this just to confirm it for my own brain that the Goose plays his dad.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
The actor that voices that character is the same as Covetous Shen from Diablo 3. I was like,
Yes, it is.
I
What,
know.
James
it
Bond?
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to Google it just to.
He passed away recently, didn't he?
Oh,
No.
I don't think
Did he
so.
really?
I don't think so.
Well,
Have you got the page?
I might be
up,
thinking of a
Jace? You
different-
probably
I'm
should.
on it. I'm doing it now.
Pretty sure he. I don't think so.
No, I don't have a death date.
Oh, good, because I like that guy's voice.
Oh, he was in the new Batman animated film.
He's
Soul
got.
of the Dragon.
He's got like probably more than 1,000 credits, I reckon.
441 acting credits.
No, never mind.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
I love how his character always brings everything back to the noodles. And
Yeah.
even when Poe's like, Dad, sometimes I think that like we're not even related, like you're not my dad or something like that. And he goes, Poe, I've got to tell you a secret. The secret special ingredient to my secret noodles is he like says, it's nothing. Just to completely distract him or whatever. I don't actually know why he said that instead of something real. But everything just always comes back to the get back to work and sell the noodles.
It's like, you done? Get back to work.
I think I've told you guys this before, but I haven't seen Kung Fu Panda in one sitting. I've seen it I've seen bits and pieces of it
you
enough
piece it together.
that I've seen it all. And it's like I've seen like half of it on a bus. I've seen like the other half on TV. I've seen like the middle pieces at a friend's house or something like that. But I've seen enough of it that I've seen it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
I
it's like
agree.
Have you seen 2 and 3?
I've seen 2, I think, and again the same thing. It's like I've seen bits and pieces of it, but enough of it to form the whole film.
How'd
But
you
I
watch
haven't
this
seen-
one, Ben? Was it on streaming?
Yeah, I think I watched it on Netflix.
I hope the others are there because I don't think I want to revisit these now.
Yeah, I think I watched it
They're really solid.
at least 3 might be
And
there
that's
as
the thing,
well.
like it's not that I don't like Kung Fu Panda. I like it. It's just that I just haven't been able to sit down and watch it all in one go. But it's good. It's
I should
funny.
watch it, Jace.
As well, like-
we can watch it.
There's that scene where Poe's like nervous and he's in the kitchen and he's just breaking everything to get into all the food and he's just munching on everything. And Shifu comes in and then has this idea and he's like, oh, I just wanted to tell you that Monkey keeps his special cookies on the pantry in the top shelf. And then he goes around and you can see how Poe acts when he's himself, when like he's not being observed. And you get to see him like do this like, oh, like, it's so excited thing as he like runs over to the corner of the kitchen. Oh, it's just so delightful just to watch it, the animation of it. It's so fun.
Nice, yeah.
I like the
definitely.
training montage when Shifu finds out that food is his motivator, because it's a really fun. And they're like with the chopsticks fighting for the
fighting
last
for the dumpling.
dumpling. It's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Is it Kung Fu Panda 1 where early on in the movie they reference the jar of 1,000 souls or something?
Yes.
And then it breaks at the end, and then
You hear
someone like touches it, and it's like,
That's right there. Like at the after he's in the temple, like he's inspecting everything. I love it. He runs to one of the things, and it's just like handles on and there's nothing there, and he's
Nothing
like, invisible spear of death or whatever. And he runs over to the car, and then Shifu starts talking to him, and he thinks it's a trapped mercenary from the jar or whatever, and he's like, "Are you quite done?" And he's like, "Oh, I guess so." You know? And then he goes, and then he sees Master Shifu, and he still doesn't put it together, and then finally he gets startled and knocks the jar over, and that's where they go.
Such a brilliant writing. I love it. I love it.
So-
I'm gonna have to revisit that. There you go, Kung Fu Panda, one of DreamWorks' best films, streaming.
It
Right
really
now.
is.
Check it out. Definitely,
It's
yeah.
like-
I put it like that and the How to Train Your Dragon films. Up
Yeah, it'd be like Shrek and then everything else.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train. Yeah, yeah.
I genuinely,
Anyway.
it's been so long since I've seen Shrek. I think I need. It's such a. It's
Shrek
such a
and
pop
Shrek 2,
culture.
man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I saw both of them maybe 3 months ago. They are really solid.
Anyway, let's pivot now to a new film, and that is The Courier, which is, let's see, a thriller that came out last year, and Ben and Terry have seen this one. I'm going to give you a quick rundown from IMDb. The synopsis goes, Cold War spy Greville Wynn and his Russian source try to put an end to the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's directed by Dominic Cook, written by Tom O'Connor, and it stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Merab Ninza, Rachel Brosnahan. Hope I pronounced that right. Let's see if there's anyone else of note. No one's seems to be anyone else in the top billing there. Anyway, IMDb rating 7.3, Metascore 63, certified fresh on the Rotten Tomatoes 87%. Fresh indeed. Anyway, like I said, I haven't seen this one, gentlemen, but I'm looking at let me just let's see if I can share the IMDb page. That's very Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy vibes.
Yeah, I'm
from
just
that
looking.
poster.
Just
And
looking
also
at it.
that spy one that Hanks did. What was that called, Ben?
With Bridge
Mark
of Spies.
Rylance.
Bridge of
Spies.
Spies.
There you go. They're the vibes I'm getting. But anyway, I'll throw it to the dulcet tones.
Oh, hello.
Terry, what do you think of The Courier?
I think I'm really coming around to Ben's point of view about synopses. They're garbage.
Yeah, that was horrible.
That's not a good. It's no. Yeah. I will say that I really thoroughly enjoyed the film. I not least of all because it was viewed with Ben and Caitlin, who I don't get to see face to face in the flesh very often at all. And I saw it on the back of having a really, really good day, and the day just kept getting better and better. Based on true story films tend to suffer from this thing of not being very exciting. You often have like huge liberties taken to inject adventure or stakes into
Drama.
It's like we've either completely fabricated additional characters or we've made the circumstances a lot more dangerous. I don't really feel like they needed to do that, and I don't think that they did. I've done no research to back up my opinion, but the
You didn't interview any spies, Terry?
no, I couldn't find any. They were very elusive. Even though I went to a bridge thinking that that's where all the spies were, but
Should have gone to a tailor.
yeah, or at least a tinker.
Or just spy.
Yeah,
Soldier spy,
or a
that's it.
soldier. Yeah, I love Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. I like the physical transformation that he goes through as his role in the unfolding events takes place. He kind of goes from well, I don't want to spoil too much, but he starts as like a portly salesman with a little bit of pudge around the edges, and he realizes that what he's doing is really, really important, and it might actually behoove him to be in better shape. And so as the movie's progressing, you get these minor little instances where he's there doing push-ups, or you might see him doing some sit-ups, and his wife is just kind of like, it's similar to I got really solid Incredibles vibe from the transition where Mr. Incredible is finally back on the wagon, and he's like feeling effective, and he's doing things, and he's like more passionate at home, and the wife is like happy but also confused, and so that there's elements of that in the film which I kind of liked. It made me think of The Incredibles, and anything that makes me think of The Incredibles, is a good thing. Yeah, I love the performances from everyone. The source that he is brought into contact with is played really, really well. I love all of the Russian scenes especially when they're drinking, because I'm like, yeah, Russians and drink, like it's just a funny kind of thing. Yeah, I liked it. I felt like I was taken back in time. I felt like I was taken to a place that is in real history and was really, really stressful for a lot of people.
And can I ask, a story worth knowing? Like you were?
Yeah, I think so.
Being
I think so.
this, yeah.
In the same way that The Imitation Game, again with Benedict Cumberbatch, World War II film, playing Alan Turing, especially at the end of the film when they give you like here's some information about what happened and stuff like that, and at the end of The Imitation Game, you've got like the estimation is that it shaved 5 or 6 years off the war and saved tens, hundreds, if not millions of lives from the conflict not being prolonged, and it's like it puts a lot of weight behind the work that you saw the characters do, that the stakes that they were facing were real, were big. There was a sense of real gravity for what they were doing. And so it wasn't like, I don't know. At the end of this film, it talks about the sheer amount of documentation that was smuggled out of Russia was huge. Like it was, and I think it said that it's the largest amount of information ever retrieved from a source from Russia in all of history. And I'm like, that's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really, really a bonkers fact. To know that the film that I've just had, when compared to real life, they actually were really effective. It wasn't just some like, oh, here's a generic spy operation that happened and we got a few bits and pieces, but we're going to turn it into a movie for you. It's like, no, this was a really big piece of history and we've turned it into a movie to really, I suppose, pay homage and shed the light on that accomplishment. So I walked out of the film feeling really, really not uplifted, but like relieved that this was work that was done on the behalf of the world. Like,
yeah, that's really cool. Ben, we've seen plenty of biopics and based on true story films in our time. How does this one land?
I swear there's a based on true events World War II film that comes out every year, and usually they're right on the money and solid. And the other thing they all have in common is there's 40 old people in the cinema with you when you watch it.
Did they applause at the end of this one as well?
No applause.
I don't think so, but I tell you what they all did. They all burst into, I shouldn't say burst, I should say like they fluttered into laughter at like the most ridiculous moments. Like the introduction to this character as a businessman. The scene is where right behind a hole on the golf course, and he's about to sink a really simple putt. And he's like, "I have a good feeling about this one, boys." And he like kind of hits it, and he goes wonky, and he misses it, and he goes, "Oh hell!" And everyone laughs.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh, old people humor. I can relate to that.
And then he sinks the putt, and he does his pitch and makes a few contacts, and he gets home and tells his wife, "I had to miss the most sinkable, easiest putt in the history of putting today." And she's like, you have to play golf badly to get clients and all that kind of thing. And so we learn what kind of person this guy is. He's a businessman, does anything to please his clients, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the movie happens after that. But
Yeah. There's a bit of hustle. Like he's
yeah,
yeah.
I had no idea this was a World War II movie. It was a spy
Well,
movie based on true story movie.
That's right. I
Yeah.
messaged you before. I
We
said,
didn't
what are you
know what
guys
this
watching?
was.
And you said the
We
Courier. I was like,
did
oh,
not-
cool. And like, what's it about?
Yeah.
No idea. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No idea.
because we needed to get to a birthday party by 6, and this came out at like 10 to 6, 10 minutes away. So I was like,
Yeah. Perfect.
And I also knew it had Benedict Cumberbatch in it because the poster. I saw the poster, and so I was like, perfect, I'm in. And yeah, it was very much. I remember thinking this movie needs Lily James. Where's Lily James? She's in all these movies, all the 1940s, 1950s, and 60s based on true story things.
Or Felicity Jones. Get her in there.
Yes, Felicity Jones, the one that was in their finest as well. I can't remember her name.
Majesty's Finest? Their Finest? What's that? I'm not familiar with that one.
Their finest. It's a female lead who becomes a scriptwriter for like a propaganda movie for the war, but it's like actually a really
Arterton.
good movie or whatever. Sorry?
Gemma Arterton.
Gemma Arterton. Yes, that's it. Yeah. She's in that. And so is the guy who has the trident in Hunger Games. A very good looking tall guy.
Super handsome.
Amazingly handsome. Yeah. He's in it. I got this. I would love to watch an interview or something from the screenwriter or the director or somebody who could tell me that I'm right when the spy from Russia who's leaking all these docs in the film. He has this this chat with Benedict's character, and he says, "I'd quite like to go to America and live in Montana." And I'm like, "That's Hunt for Red October. That's Captain what's his face? Sean Connery's character. He says that he wants to. Oh wait, no, sorry, no, it's not him. It's Sam Neill's character who says, "I want to go to Montana." And when he's, he gets shot at the end of the movie, and he's like, "I would have quite liked to see Montana." That's his dying words. I was like, surely that's a homage to Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, you might be right.
But I would love to. I don't know, find out somehow.
Yeah, like, is it an homage or is it just a really crazy coincidence that
Quite
the
crazy.
guy actually wants to?
Yeah, so the synopsis is totally wrong, Shane. It says something
Yeah,
like
a Cold War spy.
Cold War spy.
It's like, no.
Don't cross any lines. It's like he's just a dude that the CIA and MI6 or whatever come to and say, like, you've got the perfect cover. Can you drop and pick up documents and do this thing for Her Majesty? His Majesty. Her Majesty. No, yeah, it was Her Majesty at the time.
Her Majesty.
60s. And but other than that, yeah, I vibe with these movies a lot. I really get them. And the other problem, like Terry said, based on true story movies, have a trouble ending because it life just keeps going. So it's kind of like I don't want to tell you what happens at the end, but there's like this really exciting thing, and then there's like we need to know what happened, but it's not so exciting. So we have about like 15-20 minutes runtime at the end where it's just like, this isn't pleasant, this isn't great, this isn't like the you don't slay the dragon and save the princess and then get happily married happily ever after or whatever at the end of the film or anything like that. There's no hint of a sequel or or whatever. Villain that comes out of the grave at the end or anything silly like that. So it has a trouble ending.
I was
just because of the nature of.
I was trying to think of a biopic that we love, and the first one that jumped to mind was Steve Jobs. And I'm trying to think of how that ended. Like, I don't recall there being.
I'm pretty sure.
A flat ending of
it just kind of implies that he's like he hints on the iPod invention. He's like, I'm gonna put music in his pocket, and then he just goes and does his walks on the stage and does his last presentation for the iMac.
Yeah. So it's the launch of the iMac, but it's alluding to what he wants the goal to be. I'm going to be a little bit cryptic to kind of ask Ben a question, because I agree. I think that biopic movies don't know where to end. Would you agree? Because I was thinking about this without thinking about it in that way. I kind of felt like when he tells the source, that to me is the perfect place
Yeah,
to end the
that's
film.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
I completely agree. There was a
Yeah.
moment in the downward spiral where it's like we need to just do one more thing. I would be happy to not do that one more thing.
And the rest of the stuff, like all of the remainder, all of that returning to normalcy stuff, they could have achieved with what they did in the closing credits, with the text to say this is what they did. He went on to do this. This is when he eventually passed away. Like all of that that stuff. Like I think that they that captured the return to normalcy that they ended up including in the film.
Yeah.
And
It's like in Schindler's List. You guys know the end of Schindler's List where
Never seen it.
okay, I won't go on.
See it. You need to see it.
I feel like I don't
It's been
want
like
to.
a
brutal.
decade since I've seen it.
It's phenomenal.
Actually, no, it hasn't been. It would have been about 5 years.
You guys have got to see it if you haven't. Like Jason.
I've seen it, but it's one of those films you watch it and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
now that that's done, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
I
the
remember
best possible way.
my
It's like
groom
one of the best
Jake
things in
was-
cinema. One of the best scenes in cinema ever is the last scene of that movie.
The girl.
What?
Am I right?
Huh?
I honestly can't remember that scene.
You're thinking about the scene with the girl in the red dress, right? Because you've heard
Yeah.
in the red jacket.
that's in the middle.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, that's in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Oh, okay, right.
Anyway, the Courier, gentlemen, would you recommend in cinemas or shall I wait for the Netflix release?
Get your popcorn,
Yeah.
eat it while it's hot.
Wow.
Popcorn was really good,
Okay.
actually. I will say Castle Towers popcorn game is on point. The
Bravo,
value,
Castle
maybe
Towers.
not so much, but it's movie popcorn and you want to support the cinema industry. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to going to the cinema next week for Mortal Kombat. Like, I can't wait to go to
yeah,
the cinema.
I'm pretty keen for that movie.
So am I.
I'm
listening
in
to
Melbourne
the
this weekend
song.
actually, and I don't have plans for the morning, so I might catch a movie. This might be it.
A matinee performance.
Anyway, that's The Courier. It's out in cinemas now. Stars Benedict Cumberbatch. Adding to the list of fantastic biopic movies he's done. Like,
Yep. Go and deliver
Imitation
yourself
Game
to
that
the
we,
cinema
that we
to watch
mentioned
it.
earlier. The Hobbit, another fantastic one.
Yeah, true life, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to round out the show with some movie actor go, and I like how I've set up the overlay this time with the cameras running vertically. We can just go down the line instead of needing to.
Yes, it's slimming.
It's like
Nice.
on the-
Clockwise and counterclockwise. Yeah,
it's just
it's
cross.
too confusing for my old brain. Anyway, let's start with me. Movie actor go Benedict Cumberbatch. Ben.
Are you after me, Terry? Oh, good. Okay, so The Courier.
Son of a bitch. He
there any
just
other
said the names and I didn't listen and I wasn't paying attention in the cast, so that's not fair. Son of a bitch.
Would you like Imitation Game instead?
Sure, I would. I'd appreciate that.
As
Fairly.
this round.
Yeah, a bit of gentleness.
You're
but-
right. There's no like superstars other than
Yeah, I will say that the MI6 guy, the older gentleman that's not the one behind the desk, the one that's involved, he plays Trotter in Cutthroat Island. And as soon as I saw his face, I was like, Trotter! Because that's how this admiral guy says his name in the movie. And I'm like, I'm glad he's still acting. He's very old, and that makes me feel very old. But
You might remember the name of the guy who played the head of the CIA. That guy. You remember him?
I remember, I know him from other things, but I don't know his name. So if you
While
would
Terry
mind-
thinks of an answer, I just realised I need to explain what movie actor go is. This is the game where we try and stump one another with our knowledge of films and actors that are in them. And the way we do that is that one of us starts by naming a movie or an actor. I might say Robert Downey Jr. Ben then needs to name a Robert Downey Jr. film, like The Avengers. Terry then has to name another actor, different actor, in The Avengers, like Scarlett Johansson. Jason then needs to name a Scarlett Johansson movie that's not The Avengers. So on and so forth. We eliminate one another until we have a winner. Terry, it's with you. What did you say, Ben? You said The Imitation Game.
We have an extra rule, which is like, be nice for the first couple of loops. So
Yeah.
Nice.
change it to The Imitation Game because it's much more prominent.
Imitation Game stars Keira Knightley.
Oh, and Keira Knightley is in. Oh, I don't want to say, but I reckon that's harsh. Keira Knightley is in. What's Keira Knightley been in lately?
Lately, not a huge amount.
Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace.
Is she in that?
Yeah.
No? Keira Knightley.
Yeah, she
Who's
plays
she?
as Padme Amidala's double.
No.
I don't think so.
I
Check it.
think you are wrong.
Please check it. If that's.
Oh, I'm checking it. I'm checking
I
it.
mean, I've watched that movie however many times. Surely that's not Keira Knightley.
They don't
Keira
look anything like
Keira
one.
Knightley.
Your mind tricks
Star
don't
Wars
work.
Episode 1.
Free
There she
money.
is. Yeah,
She's
it was
not,
in an.
she's
It was.
not the double though. She's a double. Like she's
She's
one
a
of the...
double. Yeah.
Okay,
There
so
was that episode of Graham Norton where she was talking about it, and then Lee Mack is like, I don't know, if you're standing right next to like the Queen and imitating the Queen, that's like an assassin's like best dream, right? You just like, oh wait a
Yeah.
second, that's not her, she's right there, and then you shoot that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there you
have to
go.
look this
Star
up
Wars
later.
Episode 1. You
go.
are welcome.
Okay, well, thank you. That's nice and easy. I'll go with his Neeson-ness. So Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, my go.
That's
Yeah.
your man.
Don't you do it.
Like non-stop or walk amongst the tombstones. Terry?
I knew you were to say walk amongst the tombstones. I'd prefer non-stop because I think I have a chance at that one.
Pursuit.
What are these movies?
This is going to be. I don't think I have so far, but fuck you. I think that might be the first time I've sworn this episode.
Oh, go on. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Nice. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That has. Oh, I'm going to say the wrong one. Oh, he plays the son of the Green Goblin.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know
can't believe that's
exactly what you're
Keira Knightley.
thinking of.
I'm looking at the photos now of the double, and I think it's the makeup. It's the makeup and the fucking
Why?
wig, the big
Yeah,
head dresses.
Why does my brain? Why does every brain do this? Like, I know the guy's name.
You can't tell which brother it is.
No, I can't. I've now forgotten both names. I don't know either brother's name.
What are we thinking of here? What are we trying to
The,
think
the guy, he's in
The one in the
Ballad of Buster
meme
Scruggs.
of first time, huh?
Yes, it's first time for you. It's like
of? Oh, yeah.
being hung. Oh my goodness!
Do we want to count them out?
No, I'm done. That
Wow, really?
yeah. No,
Okay, can I help him out a little
Terry's
bit?
pulled the trigger.
no.
Okay, all right.
I'm just out. No help.
All right.
Savage, brutal.
Ben, you eliminated Terry. It's with you now. Back to me. So.
Do you want me to tell you who it was?
Yep.
James Franco?
Franco. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Ben,
James
you
Franco.
have to go, so
And what's his brother's name?
Dave.
Yeah,
Dave?
Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the YouTuber Philip DeFranco.
Yeah.
There's the dirt in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben.
I'm just I was just looking up all
Keira
those
Knightley?
Liam Neeson movies. Yeah, I had a feeling, I must have read it somewhere, but it must be wrong, that he's like partnered with some director and they just do all these little movies where he's just a badass in all of them, and it's But no, they're all different directors. I don't know. He just keeps taking these.
Oh.
Maybe it's a producer.
Maybe I'll have to look into it after this because it's really.
Yes, please. That'd be interesting.
All right, Donald Gleason.
Oh yeah. Donald Gleason is in True Grit.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes, he is. Oh goodness.
trying to
With
get
Haley
at me.
Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld.
Oh, she's in Ender's Game.
She is.
Oh yes, Ender's Game. Yes. With Ben Kingsley? He's in that one, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. So Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Maori, it's great.
Who's in
Yeah.
Iron Man 3.
No, he is.
Yes. You'll never see me coming.
Is that the Mandarin or the Mandolin?
The Mandarin.
Yeah.
Whatever. Isn't Guy Pearce in that too?
Yeah, he is.
Hmm.
Oh god. I don't know Guy Pearce movies.
Oh, there's a really good Nolan film with Guy Pearce in it.
Mm.
It's a really good movie.
He's in a lot of movies.
He is.
Easily forgetful though, right, Jace?
Yeah.
No, because every time I see him, I'm like, oh, is it
you trying
Australian
to give me a
actor?
hint, Ben?
I was trying to make a joke on the movie. 'Cause it's
The
like,
Nolan movie? Is that what you're trying to... I'm gonna take a stab. and a Nolan movie.
Oh, don't.
Memento.
Nice.
Yay.
Smooth. Jason?
Yeah.
What was that?
Carrie Ann Moss.
The Matrix. You know there's two actors from The Matrix in Memento?
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, Cypher's in it.
So have you named someone, Ben?
I picked The Matrix after he said Carrie Ann Moss because
Oh,
I
sorry.
knew that if Jason could name an actor, it'd have to be one of the two actors that also are in The Matrix. So I was just like primed, ready to go with The Matrix. So I said it like right away.
Oh, okay.
My God, translate.
Keanu Reeves.
Sorry, I'm trying to delete. There's a message in the
Trying to
chat.
do
I
Keanu
can't
Reeves
delete it. There you go.
You know.
Sorry, what's the thingy?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is in.
Can't say The Matrix.
Oh, I can't say The Matrix.
Can't say The Matrix.
Keanu Reeves is in. John Wick.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like, The Man of Tai Chi or whatever that movie is. That
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or 47 Ronin.
47 Ronin, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what have we got? Ian McShane's in that.
He is, yes, fantastic. Ian McShane. Trying to think of a different movie than the one that we were just talking about. He's in a Woody Allen movie, but which one?
Is he?
Yeah, it's like one of the early 2000s. I think it was either Scoop or Match Point, but I'm not confident. So I'll just go Kung Fu Panda. What
Jackie
else could I
Chan.
have said for Ian McShane? No other movies jumped. Did any other
I
movies
can't
jump
think
to
of any
mind for
other
you?
Ian McShane films.
Could have said John Wick 2.
I
True. Well played. Jason said Jackie Chan. Ben, to you.
did say Jackie
Oh,
Chan.
okay. The Drunken Master?
Mm,
Oh, I
yes.
can't do that.
Yes, with Gary Oldman. Mm. You got me, Ben.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Shane.
Who's in the
Chan,
Drunken Master?
you've really got to steer clear of.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Asshole.
I'm sorry. You're welcome.
Movie have to
As
go,
a-
Ben. You're on a roll. You're gonna make it
Here
a
we go. Here we go.
triumvirate of murder tonight. Kill Jason. You get to go, sir.
Daniel Craig.
Logan Lucky. Which I still haven't seen, but I know he's in it.
Oh, you got to see it. Oh, you got
know.
to see it.
Good one. Good one. Speaking of fantastic Daniel Craig movies, Ben, I don't know if you're going to be happy to hear this.
Yeah.
There are 2 sequels to Knives Out coming.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I heard that. Yeah.
And it's still Rian Johnson and it's still Daniel Craig,
Yeah.
and I'm excited.
You are
That's it.
excited? Okay, good. Okay. 'Cause I worried you might not be.
But the only scary thing is it's Netflix.
Yeah.
It's Rian Johnson, though. Like, I think he's... I've got a feeling that no producer can wrangle that man.
Mm.
I've just found that Netflix movies kind of live up to their audio intro. Ba-boom.
Right. My concern is that what most people love about Knives Out isn't necessarily like the main thing that I love about Knives Out. The thing that I love most about Knives Out that I'm a bit concerned that they might not recapture is Marta. Is like, you know, that film is great because of her moral center, right? It all revolves around her character and who she is. The way it's constructed around her is fantastic. That reconstructing that again, totally doable. But I don't see if they can hit me the same way that Knives Out hit me in 2 sequels. My goodness, then Rian Johnson will be my favorite director of all time.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
sorry to interrupt.
What movie was that?
Logan Lucky.
Like Lucky. Is it Katie Holmes? Katie Holmes? Holmes.
Is she in
Katie
that? I
Holmes.
forget if she-
Yeah, is.
Is she?
I can look it up.
Is the ex-wife, right?
Of Tom
Oh
Cruise.
yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, of Tom Cruise, but also in the movie, she's the ex-wife.
Batman Begins.
Nice.
Mm.
Batman Begins.
Yes, she is.
Piece of advice,
She's
Tom
in
Cruise.
Okay. Okay, stop thinking of Dark Knight. Stop thinking of Dark Knight. Stop thinking of Dark Knight. Christian Bale. Christian Bale.
American Psycho.
What was that gun kind of movie you guys maybe watch?
Equilibrium.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
don't
good
think I'd like it if I watched it today. I'd be like, oh boy.
Every now and then I think back
I'd
on it.
still
and
watch it.
I didn't hate it when I watched it, but when I think back on it now, like 5-6 years later, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that movie. I was just like, I wasn't just like, I wasn't along for the ride.
He's like walking through the training dojo where everyone's like training their akimbo gun skills, and like there's literally exposition just talking at the audience, just saying like, we have mastered the perfect art of gunfire, the perfect attack and
It's
defense.
like the PO, right? Like the PA, sorry, over the.
Yeah, it's like, dude, these guys are
They know.
masters of this. What are you telling them that? It's like going to a boxing gym. It's like, boxing is the art of using your fist to attack your foe.
Here at gun school, we've mastered this. Who are you talking to?
If I watched that movie again during that scene, I would go, ugh, like that. I'd probably do that out loud.
Oh boy.
I forgot my movie.
American Psycho.
American Psycho.
You said Christian Bale.
Yeah, and then I got American Psycho back.
Oh, you did. Sorry. That's
Jared Leto's in that, right?
That's right. He
I haven't
is.
seen American
And
Psycho actually. I need to watch it.
Fight Club.
I'll
Right.
interject with Brad Pitt, sir. Ben to you.
Ooh.
I pick World War Z.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Who was in World War Z?
Fucking hell. Oh, shit. What's his name?
Whoa.
Like him.
Oh, shit.
You know, every time I think of World War Z, I think of like the soldier or the marine in the back of the transport carrier or whatever, or like the giant like military airplane who's like thinks he's king shit, and then when they land, he like shoots himself. Like, accidentally.
Yeah, he's like this guy he's the world's only hope. He's gonna find the cure.
He's like super scientist, leading expert in the field, and he's like,
Oh, his name Peter Capaldi.
Well done.
fuck is that?
He's the WHO doctor.
He's the guy
at
who
the
shoots himself in the head.
No, he's at the end. He's one of the doctors at the WHO.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He
Is
goes
on his face, Ben, because you'd know him.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see his face.
He's the doctor.
Yeah. He's the one who goes with them to the dangerous side of the wing or whatever.
Yeah. But he's also he's
Oh, the doctor, right.
a doctor. Which is funny because he ended up being Doctor Who as well as
WHO
the
doctor.
doctor. Yeah.
Right, because WHO spells who. Sorry, it took so long for me to get that. Yeah, I've seen him. Where have I seen him? Have I seen him in a Bond movie?
World War Z is one of those movies where I've only watched it the once at cinemas, thoroughly enjoyed it, but haven't gone back. I probably should.
I love that scene at the start where he's like counting the seconds after bite to infection.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
He's on the ledge. He's like, yeah, you can hear his heart beating and stuff. Oh, you mean when he sees someone else?
Yeah, see
Yes.
someone else get hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess at Tomorrowland.
Hugh
Is he
Laurie.
Tomorrowland?
Hugh Laurie is in
Oh.
Tomorrowland, but I'm not sure about Peter Capaldi.
Let's check. That could be right.
They could have picked two guys that look just like Hugh Laurie.
I am not seeing it here, sir. Sorry. Oh, Tomorrowland. What a shit movie. That was so bad.
Thank you, Whovians.
Anyway, congratulations, Mr. Mira.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That was Movie Actor Go. We might wrap it there, gents. We'll finish off with a couple of our games.
I can't wait to do the quote again.
Oh, I want to do my quote again.
We'll go to Mr. Mira first. Jason,
Okay.
your quote. Remind the people. It's scrolling by on the ticker right now.
Okay. All right, I am the Messiah. Now, fuck off.
Is that intonation? Are you doing the inflection?
Oh, okay. All right, I am the Messiah. Now, fuck off.
Sounds like
I can
Ricky
give you
Gervais
another-
is saying it.
I can give you another quote. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
Why don't I know this?
Oh man, I think I know it.
I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Is it a Monty Python?
It is.
Is it the
How about I?
Royale one?
It's not.
What?
Oh, darn it.
How about I sing you a song?
Night, Mum. Thanks for tuning in.
Always look on the bright side of life.
When they're talking about Messiah, that's got to be The Life of Brian, right?
Yeah,
That one's all about.
I haven't seen that in so long. I can't even tell you what happens.
it is the life of Brian.
Well done.
Hold on. Good choice. Good choice, sir.
Thank you.
Now I'm excited by this next one, Ben. Your quote. I know it, so that's why I'm excited. Remind the peeps.
I'll try and do an impression. You keep trying to pick a fight, but I'm just happy you're alive. That's horrible. That's horrible. Let me try again.
That's not so bad.
You did it really well, Shane. Actually, before you should do it.
Hang on. There. Oh, I was about to give a hint. You keep trying to pick a fight, but I'm just happy you're alive.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I know it.
I don't know it.
Do you have
This
a
person is
supplementary?
running while it's happening.
The Mummy?
Here's another quote.
Okay.
Shown.
What was it? Did you give me a second quote? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
The second one, Shane, was "Show me."
Which is funny because
Is it the Matrix?
Morpheus says that in the Matrix,
Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to
but I
get
don't
that
think
scene.
it's the Matrix.
I'm trying to think of another quote that won't be a dead giveaway.
Abort! Abort! Abort!
Oh,
Abort! Abort! Abort!
Serenity?
what's the code that she gives?
India Golf Niner.
India Golf Niner. Oh no, that's not the call sign. The code that she gives for the situation they're in. She's like, "We are Buddy Spike. There are children aboard."
Have I seen this film?
Aboard. You've definitely seen it.
I've seen that one. Yeah, you're talking about The
Can we give
Incredibles.
Yes.
Oh,
That's it.
right. Oh, yeah.
Show me.
You keep trying to pick a fight, but I'm just happy you're alive. It's Mr. Incredible to his wife when they're running out of the room.
Thinking
Yeah.
they got blown up in the missiles when she was yelling abort, where Buddy Strike, there are children aboard.
And then I gave "Show me," which was when he's like got the assistant, and he's like, it'll be like snapping a toothpick. And he's like, "Show me."
Show me. Oh yes, that's right.
And then she's like, next time gamble with your own
Gamble with
life.
your own life.
Yeah.
Oh, Mirage. So good.
That's a
There we go.
good
They're the
movie.
quotes for this evening. Let's turn now to the 6 degrees. We need to try and link these two actors. Terry, remind us who we're linking.
Keira Knightley to Michelle's Rodriguez.
Okay.
And I used
Rodriguez.
Ben's method for
You
picking.
Oh, right.
you did the jumping.
Yeah, I did some jumping.
How many did you use?
I will have to
links?
remember.
Degrees.
So now that we know Keira Knightley is in Star Wars Episode 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think 3. I'm pretty sure it's 3. It could be 4.
Okay.
Is the number of movies, right?
Movies are the degrees, yes.
So,
All right, Michelle Rodriguez. So you got the Fast and the Furiouses. SWAT. Oh, there you go.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. There you go.
2 degrees. Keira Knightley in Phantom Menace with Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson in SWAT with Michelle Rodriguez.
With Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah.
well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So the way I did it, I went Keira Knightley, Benedict Cumberbatch in Imitation Game,
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch with Zoe Saldana in Avengers Endgame, and then Zoe Saldana with Michelle Rodriguez in Avatar.
Avatar.
Oh yeah, Avatar. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
You should see the look
that
on
was
your
the movie.
faces.
I propose an addendum to the 6 degrees rules. I don't know if it's a good addendum or not, but I just thought of this. If you use an Avengers movie, the characters have to
Fuck
have spoken to each other.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Because
I thought you
that
were gonna say, what if we just eliminate the MCU? Like, you can't use the MCU.
They have become a massive nexus, but I think that's not a bad addendum. Like they need to have interacted with one another.
Jason.
I don't think in this example that Zoe Saldana and Benedict Cumberbatch's characters ever do. I don't think they're even in the same room or whatever.
Jason.
Well, they're on the same battlefield in Endgame.
Yeah.
What's an addendum?
An alteration.
Do you actually not know what an addendum is?
No, I'm a dum dum.
It's
Just
an
like
addendum. It's
adding
a
a
different
rule.
word for an amendment. It's like it's something that you add. It's like a
Okay,
modifier or
Mhm.
a caveat.
cool. Roger that.
Yeah. So MCU films, Ben, they have to have spoken to one another. Not in any other movie, just the MCU.
Just in the MCU. That's
But what if they what
Mm.
if they're in the same, like they're right next to each other, like
Nah.
at the end of Endgame when they
to have
when
spoken.
everyone is there?
Have to have acknowledged one another in some
Mm.
fashion.
What about when they go, "She's not alone, she's with us" or something?
Oh,
Doesn't count. Half of those people don't know the other half of those people.
Mm.
Mm.
Man, Thanos didn't even know most of those people.
True.
Ham-fisted moment.
Anyway.
Which was it? Someone. Oh, Katie Sackhoff tweeted about the Mandalorian and like that scene at the end of the first season. First season, second season. Is it one season? I can't remember.
It's
The
two
last
seasons.
episode of the second season. The female characters that are coming through and being total badasses. That like she said, the reason this worked is there was no acknowledgement of the fact that they were women. They were just the best people for the job. They were the badasses on board.
Yeah.
To get the job done.
Agreed.
There was no token.
girls.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing like that. It was like they
Suck
were
it,
just-
boys!
Yeah. It's like step aside and let a real woman take care of it. It was like none of
Yeah.
that existed in the. They just got.
They
shit
just did it.
done. They were
Yeah.
just badasses.
It's
And
so weird, right? Because Infinity War, they actually nail what they were hoping to achieve in Endgame in the previous movie, in Wakanda, where
yeah,
who's on the ground? Someone's on the ground.
Black Widow's on the
Widow's
ground.
on the ground, and then what's her face?
What's-her-face is
Okoye
there.
rocks up with No, Black Widow rocks up with.
No, I think you got it right. I think Black Widow's on the ground, and then someone, one of the Wakanda warriors. I can't remember their
Yeah,
names.
she's the main antagonist to Thanos's child, who you know at the start where she fights with
Yeah, in Scotland in the train yard.
she's the one who injures her partner or whatever, and she says something like, "We don't want to kill you, but we will." And she replies, "You'll never get the chance again." And then they vanish into the ship. They retreat, and then when they come back and they're on the other side of the energy field border in Wakanda, they have like another back and forth of some sort.
The line from Black Widow is she's not alone. Again, like she goes,
Yeah.
"You'll die in the dirt alone," or something like that. And then it's like she's not alone. Then she turns, and then blonde Black
that's
Widow's
Black Widow.
there, and then I think Okoye, maybe her name is from the guard of Black Panther, is there
Mhm.
as well. But who's on the ground?
aren't
I thought it
all
was the guard on the ground.
yeah.
Anyway, I have to work.
Maybe.
I have to rewatch it.
Oh
And
no.
And then Scarlet Witch shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shows. I was like, why was she up there this whole time?
Yeah.
Okoye.
Amazing.
Yeah, I
Okoye?
I found it. Yeah, I'm
Sure,
gonna
pronunciation.
copy it and put it in our chat.
Anyway, that has been the Movie Magic Show for Wednesday, the 14th of April. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, be sure to tune in again next week, every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, here, twitch.tv/magic_cast. You can follow us on Twitter as well, at Movie Magic Show. We'll tweet when we're going live to let you know which topics we're going to be discussing. Speaking of the topics we're going to be discussing, gentlemen, let's decide. What should we do next week?
Mortal Kombat! Oh no, wouldn't have come out by then, now would it?
Yeah, it'll have to be the following episode that we do.
Yeah,
Mortal
before
Kombat.
the
But yeah,
episode.
I'm keen for it. I'm not sure I've ever played a Mortal Kombat game. I'm not a big fighting game fan.
Did you ever
so-
watch the original Mortal Kombat film?
Nah.
It's
I'm actually-
amazing.
For Lambert as Raiden.
What was that, Ben?
I'm in Shane's shoes as well. I never really played the Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah, I was more of a Street Fighter guy.
Yeah, same.
I got really good at one of them, but yeah.
I'll play Mortal Kombat, but I feel like Street Fighter's more my type of game. It's more faster paced and the combos and stuff.
Yeah, that's the huge when you go from something like Fatal Fury on
Oh,
Xbox
yeah.
One to Mortal Kombat. It's like you're playing through sludge. It's like we're moving through skeleton
So slow.
speed.
Bought the Terry Bogard amiibo. Boy, you mentioned Fatal Fury. Yeah, that's very cool.
I like Fatal Fury.
I
just
don't
on
know.
Netflix right now, I'm seeing
I'm
Venom.
I'm planning to watch Uncut Gems this weekend.
What's that?
Oh, nice. That's the Adam Sandler one.
That's the Adam Sandler one.
Rave reviews.
Yeah,
Rave.
and a lot of controversy that it got snubbed at the Oscars when it came
Streaming or is it cinemas?
Netflix. It's Netflix. Yeah.
Was it snubbed or was it excluded because it didn't meet the criteria to be nominated or whatever?
I think snubbed. I don't know because a
Surely
lot of
every
people.
film knows to have some kind of limited theatrical release by now.
I think the controversy I saw is that the Academy just don't like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm keen to watch that soon.
Uncut Gems, you said. I'm adding it to my list right now.
Yeah.
Legitimate actor.
So what I learned this week was that Jason owes the world a viewing of Schindler's List
Yes.
and Logan Lucky.
Oh yeah, where's Logan Lucky? Let's see where that is right now.
All right.
Logan's Lucky.
Logan's lucky.
Lucky Logans.
It says not available.
Oh, no.
anywhere.
Well, that's not very lucky, is it?
No.
Thank you. I'm here till Tuesday.
I'm seeing what else there is.
You know what we haven't referred back to? Do you remember that Google Doc that we had?
Yeah, still got it there. Let's see.
Yeah. So I've got $1 Million Baby. You've got Maggie, Lost in Translation, Logan Lucky, Life Aquatic, The Judge, It's a Wonderful Life, Hannibal, Creed 2, Boondock Saints, Cinema Paradiso, Black Klansman, American Hustle, Age of Adeline, At Astra, 12 Angry Men, Moonlight, Primer, Raging Bull, Rain Man, The Road, Social Network, Seven Psychopaths, Shame, Taxi Driver to Town, Uncut Gems, Us, and Wolf of Wall Street.
Didn't we talk about Seven
You probably did.
ago?
Yeah, Jason probably missed a couple of
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know what?
I have life.
I think I'm gonna watch Creed 2 finally.
Ooh.
I love Creed.
I
and
liked the sequel.
There's a third one coming. So
Ooh.
I should watch it.
Take me higher.
Thanks, Jason.
With arms wide open.
I'm gonna watch Creed 2 and Uncut Gems. Okay,
Uncut Gems,
there's our
definitely.
homework, boys.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the
Good homework.
following episode we'll do Mortal Kombat. And I think by that stage,
Finish him.
I think in 2 weeks' time,
Order
Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be done. So
Yes.
I'm
Anyone else
really watching that.
I've been watching every week.
Shane is shaking. Sorry, Ben is shaking his head.
I'm sick for that week when you guys talk about that movie, show.
Are you watching it, Ben?
No.
Actually, one TV series that I have recommended to Jason, and I will recommend to you boys.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you don't like it after the first episode, then just stop. And that is Invincible on Amazon Prime. It's an animated series. It's got Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons, and I'm hooked.
Based on the
Line
comic
and sinker.
series written. Do you know who wrote the series?
Yeah,
Comics?
Robert Kirkman.
Robert Kirkman,
Walking
same
Dead
writer
comics.
of Walking Dead. Yeah.
Yes, I'm really enjoying it. So,
do have
and if you don't
to
like it after
stop.
the first episode, then you're probably not going to like it. So, I
Yeah.
Okay.
ask that you give it a shot on Amazon Prime.
I don't have Amazon Prime.
I do.
I ask that you come over to my place, Jason, and I will rewatch it.
You going to Melbourne this week?
Yeah, in a few weeks we can.
Yeah, alright, sounds good. Sounds good.
Alrighty, that's been the Movie Magic Show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Join us next week for Creed 2 and Uncut Gems, and the following week for Mortal Kombat and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I want to thank Mr. Movies Ben Stapleton.
It's been really fun. Pod blast, Shane. Had a pod blast.
I want to thank the dulcet tones of Terry Fear,
Always a pleasure.
and I want to thank the era of Jason Mira.
Thank you very much, guys.
Don't know what that was anyway. Thank you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope to see you next time. Until then.
Bail no, bro.